Big Cottonwood Canyon to talk to you a little bit about what we've been spending the last several months working on in terms of trying to do our part on improving traffic and congestion in our canyon. So from everyone here, and I'll introduce them in a minute, traffic and the arrival experience and what's happening with the environment is of a primary concern to all of us. And so what we've been working on is to try to figure out the best ways to improve that experience for our guests, for our community members, and for the important stakeholders who have to caretake and take care of this road. So at Solitude, what we've been focusing on is, we have all the pieces that can impact this initiative. And what we're doing is we're focusing on carpooling. So we have created our own Solitude Carpool app that's available to all our employees and guests. We are encouraging people to download this. And this is a great way for people to find each other so that ideally, if you don't get a reservation or you don't want to drive your car up here, you can take your friends and families with you and bring them up the canyon. And so make sure that, we want people to find this app and find friends. If you're going to come to the canyons, especially on peak periods, you should bring people with you. The second is the ski bus, and we do have our partners here from UTA, but the UTA ski bus is at the same service levels as prior years. We're really, it's an important stakeholder. It does a great job of bringing up our guests, our locals, and our employees. And Solitude, along with all of the Cottonwood resorts, we are providing free ski bus to all of our pass holders. So that's Icon pass holders, Solitude pass holders, as well as all of our employee passes. And then the last is just making sure that if you're going to come to the canyon on peak days, we want you to have a spot. We don't want to have people in line. They're waiting hours to get up here. They get up here and then they get turned away. So this year on our peak busiest days, which is about 64 days of the season, we are implementing a new reservation parking program. For us, that will be about mid-December through mid-April. It will be Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays that you must have a reservation. For us to be successful in what we're doing, we do need your help. So especially our locals and our visitors. The most important thing for this winter is you really need to plan before you go. Do not just get in your cars and drive up the canyons. It is very different now as all the resorts are moving to more of these reservation programs. So plan ahead. Use the ski bus. Make sure you check out what the 972, which is our route here in the canyon, make sure you check out what their timetables are. And then again, carpooling, find your friends. And then make sure you know your way around the various reservations options in Big Cottonwood as we introduce our partner up the road, Brighton Resort, and our partner here in the community, the town of Brighton. We all have reservation parking programs in place, but they are slightly different. They're all different because they're based on what's best for our business, our employees, and our community. So there are some nuances there, and you're going to want to make sure that you understand those differences. And again, we really appreciate the tireless work. Everybody here that's going to talk to you today has been working for months. Some people have been working on this for years, but we couldn't bring forth an improvement without the support, especially of the Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, who maintains the roads for us, and UTA, one of our ski partners here with the ski bus. So really big, lots of gratitude for them. And so at this time, what I'm going to do is behind me, you're going to hear from Brighton Resort. We have here today their president, Mike Doyle, and their marketing director, Jared Winkler. You'll hear from the town of Brighton. Unfortunately, Dan Knopp, our mayor, is out of town at the moment, but we do have his town clerk, Kara John. We have Barbara Cameron. A lot of people know her. We call her the queen of Big Cottonwood. She is on the Big Cottonwood Community Council. And then from UTA, we have Andres Coleman, who is the service unit manager. And so you'll be able to hear from them about what they're doing this year to support not only Big Cottonwood, but, what's going on here in the canyons. Thanks.
Hi there, I'm Jared Winkler, the marketing director for Brighton Resort. We're just here to express that we're really happy to be part of this group and that it's been a great effort working together, but at the same time, it hasn't been an easy one. And, trying to make everybody happy has, been one thing that we're trying to do. It's really about enhancing the guest experience, and that's the one thing we're trying to do, is make sure that everybody has a good time. I'm happy to answer any questions individually if you want about our program, but Amber pretty much covered everything we've been working on. So.
Hi, I'm Kara John, the town clerk for the town of Brighton. We're, as Amber said, hoping to improve the safety situation as folks park on the roadside and walk up to the resorts. We're hoping reservations reduce the number of cars in the canyon and overall make it safer for people to be on the road. This is a one-year permit, or a one-season permit, that we've been granted from the Forest Service and UDOT, so that we can evaluate and see if this was the best solution and if there's any ways we can improve it for next year. But yeah, just overall trying to make it a little better and safer and happier for everyone out there.
I'm Barbara Cameron with the Community Council up here, and I'm really excited for this year because this is the first time we will have our residents watching an organized approach to parking in the canyon, parking and traffic. And so I'm thanking the resorts and the Forest Service, UTA. I think we're going to see a huge turnaround this year, and I'm excited for our next meeting when we meet with you all, and I think we'll be all quite happy about it. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Andres Coleman with the Utah Transit Authority. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to be here today and highlight the partnership we have here with these folks behind me to provide the best possible experience for our guests here at the resort. We've successfully implemented several strategies to increase capacity on our ski bus, to increase operational flexibility, to provide more surge service when we need it, and to mitigate congestions in the canyon. This will provide a better experience for the employees, for the guests, and for our community as a whole. I want to highlight a few partners I want to thank. Amber and Mike with Solitude in Brighton, thank you for the tireless work. We started meeting soon after the last ski service ended to figure out innovative ways to make the experience for the guests better. And I also want to take an opportunity to thank the UTA team, our talent acquisition team, our training team. Everyone has been looking at innovative solutions to hire and retain more employees, and to the day-to-day team it takes to run our ski bus operations, our operators, our maintenance crew, our supervisors that coordinate the service every day. So thank you.
I know we're going to have some questions, but I just wanted to share just a few more things. You know, again, the goal here is when we think about how to really move the needle, we have to start down in the valley. We know that our friends down in Cottonwood Heights have really struggled on peak days when the traffic's jammed up. They can't get around in their neighborhoods. We know that our friends here in the town of Brighton can't move up and down the canyon. And some of our employees last year, it was many hours for them to get here. And that's our employees. And then you add your guests on top of that. We talked a lot about traffic and the experience, but I don't want to forget that this is also about reducing carbon emissions, right? And keeping the vehicles out of the canyon that don't have parking, keeping them out from sitting hours and miles of idling. And our goal, both of us, as we think about how do we drive carpooling, is to put more people in cars. We do want to reduce single occupancy vehicles, particularly on peak periods, and get more people carpooling. My team here did a little research, and they said, according to the Utah Department of Environmental Quality, about 42% of Utah's air pollution comes from motor vehicles. And what we've done and what we've been doing here contributes to that. And sorry, we've got some heavy equipment going on. I'll just take a quick break. So again, our goal here is to help reduce that. The last, I do want to highlight, so Brighton Resort and Solitude have worked with UTA this year. And between the two resorts, we have close to 20 UTA rideshare vans. And new and unique, we are doing our own private employee bus. We actually have contracted with La Bus. We're going to be running our own private employee bus 64 days this year. It's Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. So on those peak days that we expect a lot, between the rideshare vans and the private employee buses, we're taking about 500 employee cars off the road. And to do that, the goal is, again, to create opportunity for our guests who we do know want to be here. So that's been a big, again, these are things that when you think about the private buses, the reservations, with the town, with Brighton, and with Solitude, and then all of the rideshare vans, this is a pretty comprehensive, and I would say a significant change over any prior year. That really shows how committed all of us here, including the Forest Service, including UDOT, are to trying to make some improvements. So I just, we're really also happy. Cottonwood Connect, some of you know, they pulled that together. Visit Salt Lake was a real champion last year when the 953 bus got cut. Cottonwood Connect came online in about 6 weeks. It's pretty remarkable, and we're really excited that service is also going to be back this year. So that kind of sums everything up, and I think at this time, if you all have any specific questions, we'd be happy to take them. Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was the employee bus. Our employee bus, we have 2 parking lots in the valley, and we have a reservation system where employees go on and reserve their seat. Those little buses that I talked about are really nice buses. They're coach buses. You can put 56 people on them. It has a bathroom, and it has underbus storage. So we're really, our employees are actually really excited about this opportunity. Sure. The question was about the UTA vans and the private bus. So the UTA vans are the partnership with UTA, and you do have to have licensed drivers to drive those vans. Those vans are only for employees, and they are subject to the traction law. So putting the chains on and off is required. But the private bus, we contracted with La Bus. So La Bus is a longtime local company here in Salt Lake City, and we hired them. Their drivers, they're going to be driving the buses for us. But that bus came as a result of a partnership with UTA on how to solve, as a result of the reduced service over prior years. One of the big things that we've spent the last several months working with them on is how can we solve at least for employees. And so they have been helping us try to figure this out.
And mention too that it's partnership with Brighton.
And Brighton, yes, in partnership with Brighton. So Brighton, Solitude, and UTA, pretty much I think we started the conversation in April and met regularly till now. In fact, we're doing our test run with La Bus on Friday. But it's been a lot of work, but we're really excited that this for us feels like the first step, right?
Yeah, it has been a bit of a learning curve, and we didn't invent this program. We're just kind of using something that's been tried and true, and it is taking a little bit of an effort. I think there's a small percentage of people who didn't get reservations, and that's something that we're learning as we go, and we look forward to trying to solve that problem and make it easier, as the season progresses.
For someone coming up here on a peak day, can you just tell us what they would see that's different than
So the question was about what are you going to see on a peak day? So great. Let's take a prime Saturday in January. If you are going to come up to Big Cottonwood Canyon before noon, essentially, are you guys noon? In order to park at Brighton Resort, Solitude Resort, or on the town, you must have a reservation. You will have to have made the reservation, hopefully in advance. If the inventory is available, we will release that in the morning, but you will need to have a reservation. What we know from our friends in Little Cottonwood, Alta started this 2 years ago, is that reservation spot will be held at Solitude. We hold it till 11 a.m. At Brighton, it's noon, and the town is 1 o'clock. So until that time, you have a spot. If you made a reservation, you have a spot, which means you're having a rough morning with your kids. You don't quite get out the door at dark 30. You can get here at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever, and that spot will be held for you. What we know happened in Little is that, and what works well for us is because our lifts open at 8 a.m., their lifts open at 9. We already were kind of spreading out traffic a little bit, but now we have the ability that people don't have to rush to get in line to get into the canyon because you will have a parking spot. And that's the biggest difference. And what we know in Little is it really changed the arrival experience. What we are doing is not going to change the departure experience largely, right? This is all about improving the morning arrival traffic and congestion. There are parking fees for and it varies. So Brighton has their own system that they have for how they handle reservations and whether they have paid parking. Solitude, we do have our own paid parking, and on those days, those peak days, you will need the reservation, and then the town also is going to have a paid reservation program. You can so the resorts have released inventory for the whole season. So we've released partial inventory for the whole season that individuals can go in and make reservations, but you can only hold so many reservations at one time. So it's 5 reservations for us, so it's 5 reservations. It will be for all of us. You can have 5 active reservations at any time, and then you have to use one in order to make your next one. I feel very proud, to be honest with you. And we're in the thick of it right now. You're on social media. You're seeing what's being said about Brighton. You're asking questions about disgruntled. You've seen what Solitude has taken over these last few years. We're getting a lot of phenomenal feedback, but we're also getting the people who are frustrated. And so I would just say that for us to get these 3 entities, plus the Forest Service, plus UDOT, with UTA, I'm extremely proud of what's going on in Big Cottonwood Canyon. I know, based on the data and based on the time together with experts, I know our arrival experience this winter will be better. I know it will. Yeah, so at Solitude, are you guys a 3? So we do the carpool incentives at the 2 resorts. Brighton is doing 3 free. So if you have a reservation and you have 3 in your car, and you're not a pass holder, then you'll get free day parking. And at Solitude, we're doing 4 free. So if you make your reservation and you make your reservation online and you can bring 4 people in your car, it's free to park. And again, the goal here is as you know, we have very limited parking in our resorts. Solitude has the smallest amount of parking of the 4 Cottonwoods. We know there's limited parking on the road. So the best thing we can do to accommodate all the demand, and which we can accommodate quite well on the mountain, is we just need more people in our cars. We need less cars, and we need more people on the bus and more people in the cars to come and enjoy these amazing mountains. Solitude does not have future plans for parking structure. No, Brighton does not either. There are some real our base areas are primarily Forest Service, and there are some limitations with Forest Service lands and parking in the canyons.
One thing to mention too about the negativity about it, those are only the people who maybe haven't even came up. They're just seeing and they just don't like the new system. The people who came over the last weekend and the last few days, they got right up, they parked, they went skiing, they went home, they had a great time. They didn't complain. They didn't jump on the internet to be like, we love Brighton. They just got what they expected. They had a great time. And that's what you're not seeing. And I wish you guys interview some people, talk to them about parking, go up to Brighton, interview the people who did the reservation. They went skiing. They probably got sunburned, had a great day. And they're not going to go home and complain on the internet that they had a great day. But right now we're getting beat up because we're trying something new. So please bear with us and be patient, and you'll see that it's going to get better.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? Yeah.
If you guys don't have any more general questions for the group, you're welcome to reach out to the reps. They're going to be hanging around this afternoon if you want to do one-on-one interviews with them.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great job, man.